For those of y'all that don't know, I've been trying to work up some load development for my 6mm BR rifle. And got some Varget powder, Federal Gold Medal match primers, and these Barnes 112 match burner bullets. This is going to be a seating depth test. I have already done a ladder test with this Varget powder to see what powder charge my rifle actually likes with this bullet, and I found some pretty good results. So I took that powder charge, and now we are going to shoot 50 thousandths, 40 thousandths, 30 thousandths, 20 thousandths, and 10 thousandths off the lands. I had to obviously find what my seating depth needed to be, where my lands were. But let's go ahead and get to the range, shoot this, and then we will get back to the studio and talk about how it shot. Appreciate you guys tuning into the Hold Center YouTube channel. I've got a cold bore shot already loaded up in the magazine here, ready to go. One thing that's different this time, I have a suppressor on the end of this gun. I finally got an adapter for it. So I have the Gemtech Neutron 762 on this gun. Other than that, it's an Aerosolus Action Aerosolus chassis, and this is Elijah or however you want to say it. 1 7.5 twist. It's chambered by Southern Precision Tooling. It's a 6mm BR, as you saw in the title. It's got a tracked Torque Ultra HD, the ELR 4.5 to 30 on top, sitting in an area 419 mount, and then the chassis was coated by Trent at Redbeard Weapon Systems. I had some laser engraving done by Slater's In-House Guns, and then I also got this TriggerTech trigger, the Diamond Special from Slater's as well. Got these MDT magazines from A3G Munitions. He hooked me up, gave me a pretty good deal on those. Let's go ahead, let's get this cold bore down range. You should see the target camera up right now. Also, don't forget I have the MDT Gen 2 Send It level here on the side of the gun. Let's see if we can't find a good stable position here. All right, this is Lapua brass, 29.7 grains of Varget, and Federal Gold Medal match primers with the Barnes 112 match burner. Alright, don't want to lose that brass. I'm going to pick that up here in a second. Looks like my point of impact shifted a little bit low, so I'm going to come up a couple clicks just to not get into anything. That was 2758.9. That was just one shot though. So let me go ahead and load up the next round and start shooting it. All right, so I'm going to start with the 10 thousandths off now that the cold bore's out of the way. See if we can't get a good stable position here. All right, so kind of what I was expecting there as far as velocity, 2775 average. It actually went up quite a bit, 25 foot per second over what I was expecting, but 5.8 standard deviation. So let's pick that brass up and we'll load up the next charge. All right, that was 10 thousandths off. This one's 20 thousandths off. All right, that's a pretty good group right there. 2777 with a 7.0 SD. All right, I'm gonna load up. Next group's gonna be 30 thousandths off, and then we'll get into the next one. All right, we're 30 thousandths off, which we shot this one before. This was the test that we did the last time, but I just wanted to shoot it again to see where we're at. Wait on this wind gust to die down. Oh yeah, that's what we like to see right there. 2779 average with a 2.3 SD. A 2.3 SD. So I think the reason that we have a little higher velocity here is because of the sizing of the case. The first time I ran a 5,000th size, and this time I ran about a 3,000th size. All right, this will be 40 thousandths off. I don't think it picked one up that time. There we go. It fed it. It didn't feel like it fed it, but it did. That was a 2778 with a 9.3 SD. All right, last load here, 50 thousandths off. Okay, 2765 with an 8 SD. All right, so that's gonna wrap that one up. Let's go grab the target and we'll take it back home and measure it out, write the velocities down. Everything was under the double digit, everything was single digit. So that's good. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab it and talk about it. Okay, so we got some pretty good groups on this test, right? Let's go ahead and break it down. I'm going to throw the results up here on the screen for you guys to see while I'm looking at them and reading them to you. So cold bore shot a little low. I brought the rifle up just a little bit, but it shot 2758, which was about where I expected it to be. That projectile was seated a little deeper than I meant for it to be. Doesn't matter. Here we are. So we started with 10 thousandths after that, 10 thousandths off the lens after that. 2775 average, 5.8 SD. And it's a 0.44 inch group. So the one round was outside of the group of the rest. Then 20 thousandths off, 2777, 7 SD. Not a bad group, a 0.29. I will be happy with that all day, every day. 30 thousandths off, we found a really good load here. So 2779, 2.3 SD, that is phenomenal. And a 0.19 inch group. All 3 rounds touching. That is a solid group. I cannot complain about that one bit. Moved to 40 thousandths then, 2778, 9.3 SD, and a 0.46 inch group. We had the 2 rounds touching and then the 1 round low outside the group. Last but not least, 50 thousandths, 2765 average. So we lost a little velocity there. That's the slowest group we had, with an 8 SD and a 19.6 ES. 0.25 inch group, so a 1/4 inch group, all 3 rounds touching. Happy with that. My low was 2755 across all shots, and my high was 2791. The average averaged out to 2774 with a 9.2 SD, so single digit SD. I would like for that to be a little lower, but this is a seating depth test, so we had different pressures as we changed the seating depth there. So I took that 30 thousandths off load, right? I liked that load, shot a really good group, had a 2.3 SD. I was like, okay, let me shoot 10 rounds. And I forgot to take extra rounds to the range that day, so I didn't have a cold bore. And I also decided, I was like, hey, I got these Hornady bullets laying around. Let me load up a few of those, just 3 rounds, and see how it shoots. So let's go ahead, jump back to the range and see how that went. All right, so I'm all sorts of jacked up for this one, but we're back out on the range, and we've still got the load for the 29.7 loaded 30 thousandths off the lands with the 112. And I also actually brought out, I loaded some 105 Hornadies. Got those loaded up. I did 30 grains of Varget, just 30 grains even. Wanted to test that out just to kind of see, figured it would be cool to throw in on the end of this video. So this is going to include the cold bore, obviously, and you'll notice the audio is probably not as good right now. The camera quality is probably not as good right now. I'm filming with my phone because I forgot my SD card for my camera. All right, so here we are. We're loaded up, 100 yards. Got the 112s ready to go, and this is going to include the cold bore, so let's see what the cold bore does. Picked one up, and I didn't realize it picked one up that time. All right, so that's 10 shots. Velocity is 2778.9, which is right where we expected to be. The standard deviation opened up quite a bit there, 10.5. The extreme spread's 37.4. I am curious. Let's look at that group. Let's see how that cold bore did compared to the rest of them. Oh yeah, the cold bore was 2752. It was 26.4 slower than the average. And the rest of them are all, the next highest one off the average was 11. So we'll take the cold bore out whenever we get home and see how that does, or how that changes it. So 10.5 standard deviation. Okay, let's get a new session going. And this is going to be for the 105s. So we're obviously going to shoot the 105s on the bottom target. No signs of pressure. pressure. I don't want to speak too soon. That one went out. All right, so that one was 2878 with a 6.9 SD and a 16.2 extreme spread across 3 shots. No signs of pressure there. Bolt lift was easy. Let's go pull that target, take it home, and we'll talk about it when we get there. Okay, so not bad, right? If you include the cold bore, I have a 0.72 inch group. 0.72. I'm not going to complain about that with the cold bore. It's still under an MOA. That's 10 shots. But I had the one flyer, right? So you remove the cold bore, I had a 0.64 inch group. And then if you remove the one flyer, it's a 0.35. So really, the group was a 0.35, and I had a flyer and a cold bore, right? Cold bore was high left, flyer was low left. The velocity average was 2778, and then a 10.5 SD. And then, hang on just a second. If you see right there on the screen, if you take the cold bore out, the average was 2781 with a 6.0 SD. So if you take the cold bore out, it's absolutely a solid SD, a 6.0 SD. Can't complain about that. Take the cold bore out, and it's a 0.64 inch group. Minus the flyer, it's a 0.35 inch group. I think I found a really good load to stick with here. I'm not going to change that. This is going to be my go-to load if I had to guess. I don't see any reason to keep kind of messing around with this, right? Obviously, I'm going to keep testing this rifle and do more load development. But then I pulled out these 3 Hornady rounds. So you saw that. I shot it already. 0.74 inch group. Now these shot 2878. These are 105s. The Barnes are 112s, and then the Hornadys are 105s. So I expected them to be a little faster. Velocity was 2878. The SD was a 6.9. So single digit SD, but it's only 3 shots, right? So that doesn't really mean a whole lot. But single digit SD, that's solid. 0.74 inch group though. We had 2 touching and 1 out. And I felt good about all 3 of those shots. I feel like I was aiming in the same spot every time. So not really too sure about that, but we may do some more load development testing with those 105s. I already have them. There's no reason not to keep testing with them. Anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning in to the Hold Center YouTube channel. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you see more content like this in the future. Appreciate you guys watching. God bless, and Hold Center.